Hi guys, I'm Bri.
And I'm Alli. This is Offscript.
If you think about it, books are potential scripts for movies.
When this adaptation happens, typically it's disappointing because they went off script.
In this series, we will be talking about how off script they went. I have no idea what's going on. Anyways, welcome everyone to Offscript.
Hello, just playing with the emojis over here.
We are back with a minisode for you. We are talking about Dungeon Crawler Carl, the Anarchist Cookbook, and we've got John with us.
Indeed. I'm happy to be here.
We're happy to have you again.
Too kind.
Third Dungeon Crawler Carl book. Take it away, John.
Me?
Yeah.
Okay. Picture this.
I feel like if I started, you would be like, Bri, you're doing it wrong, and then you would jump in. So you just jump in, you say it, and I'll jump in with my bits and pieces I want to say.
Man, I'm not evil. Okay, so picture this. Floor 4. You are massive.
I forgot. This is the one that I like. This one, you're on a subway station, but you're on different lines. So you might be on line yellow, but your friends that you made might be on purple.
So you have to figure out how to meet up again? Or you just are like screwed?
Not with your group. They never take you away from your party, but remember the old people? Well, all the old people died except for one of them and one of the caretakers. And technically one of the other ones, but some weird random shit happens with him. So they're not a part of Carl's party per se, but they like being in contact with them. They are not on the same line together.
Okay.
Go for it, John.
It's like a complex subway maze system, and it's called the Iron Tangle because essentially it's a tangle made of iron where all the train tracks intertwine and connect and just go weird ways and places, and it's a maze of all that stuff with maze-like structures and maps and stations, many different lines and monsters and traps kind of all along the way. Many of them are also in the trains that you would be riding and certainly at the stations.
One thing we haven't said is they give you a certain amount of time on each floor, and then when there's 5 hours left, they want you to get to the stairwell to get down to the next floor. So they get to this floor and they realize, holy shit, it's not obvious where the stairs are. So that's their first. They're like, okay, we have to figure out where the stairs are so that we know and can figure out how to get right back to the stairs.
Yeah, because if you don't make it to the stairs in time, the floor collapses and you can imagine. You die. And there's less and less floors. The further and further down you go, less and less stairwells, the further and further you go.
Okay.
Into the levels.
But isn't this across the entire world? So it's as big as the world?
Well, it was at least partially. It was much, much larger on floor 1. It gets smaller on floor 2 and much smaller and smaller and smaller as you go further down. And also the amount of human survivors shrinks drastically as you go from floor to floor. It's really disheartening to Carl to watch that, and he makes comments about that as he sees the counter go down floor to floor.
My favorite, he can. It's part of the menu that pops up. He can track that. And one of my favorite things about this book is that because you also find out that so it's a TV show thing. Well, you can find out if people are following you, because some people might choose to follow you because they want to know how you're doing. And so the start of every chapter typically will tell how many hours until floor collapse, how many viewers, and how many followers that they have. And so it's kind of cool to see them grow or not.
He also gets to see real-time viewer count and he can see a meter, and he knows at this point, well,
if
this point
shit's
and
about
later
to go
points,
down,
if stuff's about to happen,
there's
and
typically
his
way
viewer
more people
count is
watching.
spiking, he can tell that stuff's about to go down. Yeah.
So
That's
he's
smart.
always like, "Oh fuck, something's happening."
Well, my favorite part about this book was the cookbook.
That's the best part because the cookbook has now helped Carl so much in
It's
this.
called the Dungeon Anarchist Cookbook. This book, by the way.
It is so essentially they got this in a fan box. One of the prizes was they got this carousel of prizes. And so this dude came in the safe room and was like, "Ho, you get to choose your prize." And it was a carousel of prizes. And there was this Dungeons Anarchist cookbook. And at first Carl was like, "What the fuck? That's fucking weird." But then he was looking at all the other prizes and he was like, "Everything in this is shit. So I'm just going to take the book because that's the one that seems like it might be useful." He gets it.
Well, the AI.
It is the journal. It is the journal. It is Tom Riddle's journal.
Oh, cool.
But with previous years' dungeon crawlers.
Oh, so he gets tips and tricks.
So essentially, this book is
Except for he can't like write back and forth with them, but it's like
so
their
it's not-
diary bit. Yeah.
every iterations of well, not everyone, but every time that an eligible crawler is decided upon by the system AI to be granted access to this book, they receive it and they have to keep it secret. It must not be found out because it is something that the system AI carries over, and not even the highest ruling authorities even know this book exists.
It literally has so many different cheats in it that because the number one rule with it is you cannot let people know that you have it, obviously. And you have to come up with a way to make it seem like you found these things out on your own. And I think if I had the book in my possession, I would never be able to do this. But so he's always like coming up with like, "Oh, maybe we should try to put that with that." And like just randomly like, "Okay, how am I going to figure out how to naturally put this in without blowing my cover?"
Yeah, but the book, he also writes things in the book to help potential future crawlers, but we don't know if that's ever going to be necessary, but it's nice that he does that. But I will also say, so the cookbook becomes a major kind of additional reference piece that is often kind of quoted throughout the rest of many, many books and many chapters to come, where it'll just say, Dungeon Cookbook, Rakia, or whatever the character's name might be, Rakia from Dungeon Crawler World 23 excerpt, and it'll like quote whatever she said about whatever she was going through or whatever she managed to accomplish or what have you. A lot of times it's depressing stuff, right? Some of the people who wrote in there have 1 or 2 or 3 entries, and they're all like, the ones that only have one are often referenced back by future crawlers who get the book and say like that was their only entry, right? And it was the most sad, like, they've given up, they've lost hope, or they have succumbed to just how messed up and cruel the dungeon is, and not just necessarily what the dungeon is, but like how these overarching powerful authorities that are running it and how they are, how they're playing with people's lives, millions of people's lives, all for the sake of like a corporation and greed and money and for just running entertainment. It's kind of just really weird. So it's all packed into this cookbook. Everyone who's ever gotten it, journals.
It's really weird, but also, so we haven't really talked much about Odette. And Odette is the person Odette is Caesar Flickerman, essentially. And so she's the one who keeps pulling them on her show. But she, every single time she has them on her show, gives tips. She kind of seems like she's playing both sides, but every single tip she's given has really been helpful. So then it's like, okay, she's on Carl and Donut's side, but she can't be because she's the bad guys. And then shoot, there was someone else that we haven't talked about. John, who was it? Oh, Sev. Sev is their PR agent because they have to have
one of those.
Yeah, to get them on the show and stuff. And she too, you can tell that she wants an uprising. She wants shit to change. So it's not just the dungeon crawlers who got fucked and put in this situation. Everyone just doesn't like the situation. It's not a great situation.
Well, the Kuatine have two factions. They have
that's true.
The ones that wear, I forget what they're called, the ribbons.
Sev is a Kuatine. That's why he brought this up.
Okay.
Yeah, the Kuatines are the race that make up the Borant Corporation. And the Borant Corporation is the owner and kind of pioneer running the Dungeon Crawler world this season of Dungeon Crawler World. And that happens to be on Earth. So, Zev is a Kuatine. And she is not a kind of ribbon Kuatine, if you will. I forget the name of the faction, but she's not them. And because she's not them, she's not looked upon by her fellow Kuatine very well. And in fact, at one point in the books, she is reprimanded severely for not obeying the Kuatine ways by the ribbons. And her family is slaughtered. Her family killed.
Yeah. And before she was reprimanded, I loved her relationship with Donut because they both loved TV. And because Donut was like, I was always in the apartment by myself, and Miss B would put on this, and like they
Gilmore
were like
Girls.
Talking Gilmore Girls, Gossip Girl, Friends. They just threw in another one that I was like, holy fuck. Oh, they just mentioned fucking Twilight in the one that I read. And like the AI was making fun of Twilight, and Donut goes, I am offended. Twilight is a good movie.
That's awesome.
In the third book, there's also kind of more rivalries amongst the parties and the players, the crawlers, if you will. So Mordecai becomes more than just a tutorial guide for Donut and by association Carl. He becomes he becomes a mentor, an assistant because of the class she chose on floor 3. And in doing so, she gains access to Mordecai in all safe rooms and personal spaces and via chat at all times. And that is such a valuable resource.
Going to not be with them after a certain floor, but then because she chose this, thanks to Odette telling Carl to have her choose this, he then gets stuck, and he was kind of pissed because he was about to be free from ever having to do the dungeon ever again too, or from being a guide for it.
It essentially, there's a group of female party of just all females, because of you find out why it's all
Katya was with.
The group Katya was with, and she was introduced to the group at the end of last book because they parted ways when they entered the new level, and they were trying to find their way back to Hekla's party. Hekla is the leader of that group of women. And Hekla had these weapons. Go ahead.
Katya this whole time knew that she was with Carl and Donut to train up. And so once she was ready, she was eager to get back to Hekla. So like throughout this whole entire book, she's just like always in contact with them. Like, oh, we should go. This is where they are. We need to get there.
Okay.
Yep. And she is is in constant communication with Hecla and describing how much of a resource Mordecai is to the group, having all the knowledge of someone, because Mordecai was a previous crawler who got all the way to level 11. He was deep.
Oh. Wait, how's he? They just said you did good, so you're going to be a mentor now?
Well, once you get past level, I believe it's 9 or 10, you start getting the option to kind of say, okay, I've had enough of the dungeon, and I'll become a citizen in servitude.
John, that's how this series is going to end. That's why there's only 10 books.
No, Bri, get out of here. It's not happening.
Carl's gonna say, no, I'm putting my theory out there right now. Carl's gonna be like, yes, put me into servitude. And then he's gonna fight the system from inside. And that's how he's gonna overthrow the system.
Maybe, but we'll see. We'll have to see what happens.
Allie, who guessed the end of Harry Potter 7?
Yeah, well,
to a point.
Matt Dinniman is very good at throwing you off. Let me tell you, he's very good at causing kind of crazy swings that you don't see coming. If I'm not mistaken, what I'm going back to is Mordecai was a previous crawler, and at floor like 9 or 10, you start to begin to get offered. I think it might be 10. You get offered to be able to leave the dungeon, but depending on what floor you are at, the deeper and deeper you go, I believe the better offers you get. And he took it pretty early, so he ended up having a very long contract with, like, think of it as, they call it cycles, but in cycles, I think that means basically years, but hundreds of years of servitude.
Well, I think the cycles are like this from the start. You find out that Borant, basically like 30 years before they took over Earth to make it this dungeon, they had sent spies down to like get samples of our Earth so that they could figure things out, or have people watch TV just to like be able to throw in pop culture references that they would get.
Oh, the AI analyzed every single piece of media as far back as it could.
So I think this cycle means from the start of when they start researching a place up until they actually do the dungeon for that place. Can he die if his party dies?
Mordecai?
Mm-hmm.
I don't actually recall. I think he can get hurt. I'm not sure, but he doesn't actually. No, he does. I actually remember. I do remember. Mordecai, he can quote unquote die, except he will be kind of in stasis on the back end. Where in the dungeon world environment, he's dead, but his real, like, his being, his consciousness is going to be saved and alive and brought back kind of after the dungeon crawler world is over. But that is not entirely true on floor, which we'll get to on book 5, where the layout and the system governing that floor in book 5 actually makes it so that the hunters in book 5, they're called hunters, that are actually there. They're not crawlers, but there are beings from outside in the universe that enter. They know the risks. They actually die if they go in there, and they get killed. And just like the crawlers, but you know, other floors, if there's entities that exist and they are not NPCs, they don't actually die. But NPCs do die. But yeah, rivalries. So essentially they know Mordecai's a helper now to Donut. So they want Donut in the group, right? So Hecla's like, all right, let's try to get Donut in the group. And she attempts to do it by force. And there's a little bit of a standoff there, which actually results in Hecla's.
I actually thought that Donut was going to go to Hecla. When I read this, I was like, ooh, because I didn't think that Donut and Carl actually had a close enough relationship. But then Donut was pissed because what they wanted to do was kill Carl. And the second they went to kill Carl, Donut was like, that's my guy. Right. Yeah. What were they thinking? They wanted Mordecai.
There are a couple of characters we didn't reference. We haven't really gone back to the Meadowlark crew, but
that's the old people.
The old people
the
from
senior
book one.
citizens.
So they've some of them have managed to survive. Some of them have not, and there's a storyline there which we haven't touched on, which we don't need to. But suffice it to say, one of the caretakers named Imani is now a kind of a butterfly-esque fairy human with healing and support abilities. And
one
there's
of
also
the old ladies is a freaking ice princess now.
Yeah, she was 99 years old in wheelchair bound, and now she's flying around, whipping out ice crystals at people and having a grand old time. She has a mouth, and she is just eccentric, and she's great. And she's like, imagine just being that old and suddenly being youthful and powerful and flight, and just she's having the time of her life. She loves it down there.
That would be cool, though. Little Elsa.
It really.
So I don't want to be. I feel like I'm like the one kind of carrying the show. I'm like, all right, next thing.
You're
next
fine.
Thing.
You're doing good. You're doing good.
So another topic that I want to talk about then before we move on, I think we're probably getting closer towards just like the general gist of the third book, but we're starting to see more in an increase in complexity in the politics, as well as the alliances and the kind of rivalries. So the politics wise, you're getting sponsorships more often now. You're starting
sponsors.
Yeah, and the sponsor that Carl gets is actually the rival corporation to the Boren Company, and they give him like kind of UI and interface upgrades to his kind of system interface and so forth, which is
a kind of fuck you to the company they're against.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. And that's what sponsors do. They kind of provide gifts, and they can pay a large sum of money to give you gifts instantaneously. And depending on the gift level, go ahead.
One of them was a yam.
Yeah, that yam is a very special yam, but
it is, but he didn't know it when he opened it. He opened it and was like, a fucking yam. But of course, you can't say that out loud. So he had to like hold it up in the air and be like, thanks for the yam.
That sponsor is the kind of like inner something pacifist group. And that's a crazy sponsor to have. In a dungeon where you're killing things, you have a sponsor that's a pacifist group.
But it's because Carl always tries to find a way to like not harm the most people. He's a big pacifist. He'll like talk to the monsters and the NPCs to see if there's a way to help them rather than by just killing them.
There's also a top 10 now as well. Top 10 callers based off of performance, viewership, sponsorships, follower count, so forth, and just like maybe how many bosses they've killed, how many players they may have killed, and so forth. All kind of are factored into the top 10, and the top 10 have bounties on them as well.
So then other people want to kill them from in the dungeon to get more money.
So in floor 3, they also so there's stronger mobs, of course. As floor you go, the stronger the mobs. You start to have kind of betrayals start to happen. Difficult ethical choices and so forth start to happen, and you start to realize there's corrupt systems in place in the dungeon. Whereas, for example, in the dungeon, there's those monsters in floor 3 that are at those stations, right? And then they get on the trains and they go down to this other station and they get off. Why do they keep doing that? Are they trained? Are they told to do that? What's making them do that? Well, they come to find out, spoiler, they're addicted to drugs. They have them hopped up on a drug, which makes them get want to go get their fix, and then they go and then they do this repeating cycle, and that's how they are, managing these mobs to do that. And that is just so crazy and kind of messed up. But it's emphasized as a feat of engineering by the showrunners, which is kind of funny. I mean, if you think about it, it was pretty over designed, one might say.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So
new items, new allies.
Is this your favorite one, Bri?
No, my favorite is book 5.
Oh, the one you're not even done with yet?
Yeah.
What's your favorite one, John?
So far, book 5.
Oh, okay.
I've told Bri before, I think that the books only get better.
He literally, like, the first one, he was like, this is my favorite. Then he read the second one, was like, no, this one's my favorite. Then he read the third one and he was like, scratch that. Third one's my favorite. And it's only been like that ever since.
No, it's I'm dead serious.
Hey, John, is there anything else we need to say about the third one?
I would just say, as they're going down the stairs for the last several floors, isn't
this the one that they ended up going down early?
I don't know. I don't recall if they went down early in this one necessarily, but
I think they did.
As they go down the stairs for many of these floors, there is this one old lady from Meadowlark's group originally who is pushing a carriage full of just what looks to be like
She's
weird
basically
junk.
A homeless lady.
She looks like a homeless lady, and somehow every floor she is alive and kicking.
She has survived, and she keeps, and like every time Carl sees her, she's only like level 3 or level, and
they're fighting enemies who are like level, they start to fight enemies who are in their 20s and 30s, and that she's like, hey, I'm level 3, old lady, homeless lady, just pushing my cart.
She's gonna have a bigger role.
She is
something going on
for sure, because she she said something to Carl at the end of one of the books, and it was something that was very much ironic because I can't remember it now, but it was very poignant, and like I was like, holy shit, she's a bigger character than we even realize she is right now.
Well, originally when he did he did a description. He got a description of some of the stuff in her cart because he got an upgrade to his interface which allowed him to sort his interface by like rarity or by value and so forth. And he sorted it by like things that he previously ever had in his inventory by rarity, I believe. And
because he also stole her cart at one point because they were using it for like a boss battle they were doing, but he put it in his inventory. And she was pissed. She was like, give me my cart back.
Exactly. And it turns out those were, I'm pretty sure they were Valte items. And the Valte, like I mentioned earlier in this episode, is the rival corporation of the Borant company, who actually, when I say rival, I mean Borant owes the Valte corporation money, and they are running this Dungeon Crawler World season to collect the money necessary to pay the Valte back. And they need this to go smoothly. And a large theme about this Dungeon Crawler World season is that Borant did it cheaply. Borant is doing everything as skimply and cheaply as possible. There's bugs.
And as fastly as possible. Like, there have been many times they've gone down to a floor where Mordecai's like, you guys should not be here with how much time you've been in the dungeon already. This is usually something that they would wait weeks and weeks to get you involved in. But I guess we're here, so let's go. Let's get you trained up.
Right. And Mordecai also tells them, as we obviously see, that the AI is compensating for the speed of the dungeon levels by increasing mob difficulty, giving better rewards at earlier levels. Like there's times when they get these items that they shouldn't have access to,
or that Mordecai hasn't even fucking seen. He's like, what the fuck? I've only heard of that before.
So very cool stuff, very exciting stuff. But that's book 3.
Woo, woo, woo. Okay, I have a question.
Yeah.
You said that they possibly went down early. Why wouldn't their goal to just be go to the stairs as quickly as possible?
XP.
So
leveling up.
Yeah. So one thing I actually think it was the end of book 2 they went down early. So then book 3 they start and they're like, holy shit, because they lost 5 days. They essentially went into a room, felt like they were there for like a few hours, came out, and everyone had like leveled up.
That was a later book.
Many. Oh, was it? Was it the 4th book?
And it was also just Carl.
No, this happened when they went down early too. Because they went to Odette's show and then they went and hung out in their room. And then when they left, Carl was like, fuck, we shouldn't have gone down early because we missed out on killing mobs. We missed out on XP. He was like, I know why. They were basically backed into a corner where their only option was to go down the stairs early, but it fucked them.
When you go down the stairs early, you don't get to go to the next floor early.
You're in this in between
while the rest of the floor continues.
Got it. Okay.
You only want to go down if it's like dire situation that you need to for your safety or something.
Well, we'll see you guys for
book 4.
Book 4. Bye.
Next minisode. Bye-bye.
Peace.
And happiness.
And prosperity.
Thanks for sticking with us.
We hope you enjoyed it.
If you did, we would greatly appreciate it if you gave us 5 beautiful stars, reviewed, and subscribed.
You can also follow us on Facebook at Offscript, on Instagram at Offscript Podcast 21, and on TikTok at Offscript_pod.
Shoutouts to Madame Shen Creations for our adorable logo art.
And Adam Daniel for our incredible theme song.
And to Creative Cinephile Productions for producing our podcast.
See you next time.